Rise and shine, Kit Katastrophe. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply that you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest, and all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until, well, let's just say your hour has come again. The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So wake up, Kit Katastrophe. Wake up and smell the retools.
Welcome to Kit Katastrophe. My name is Kit, and today we'll be taking a look at Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class CROWBAR. This figure came out in 2018 as part of Wave 1 of the Deluxe assortment, and is an extensive retool of the Last Knight Deluxe Class Berserker. This figure represents CROWBAR's appearance in the 2011 film Transformers Dark of the Moon. CROWBAR, like his teammates Crankcase and Hatchet, turns into a black Chevrolet Suburban with police lights up top. The vehicle mode itself is pretty boring, all things considered, but at the same time, that just appeals to me in a more hiding in plain sight kind of way. Funnily enough, he's actually roughly the same size as Dark of the Moon Deluxe Class Crankcase, although Crankcase is ever so slightly taller, longer, and narrower. I think they work in a mushy toyetic scale, especially since the size of the original Crankcase wasn't taken into account for this mold. This vehicle mode suffers from a very infuriating flaw. The tentacles for CROWBAR's robot mode have no solid place to hide in vehicle mode, so you'll be trying all your might just to keep the damn things hidden by wedging them between the legs or something, or you'll just admit defeat and allow them to dangle out the rear. This is excruciatingly sloppy and disappointing, and the main reason this figure draws my ire. CROWBAR comes with two spiked weapons which can wedge into holes on the rear side of his vehicle mode haphazardly. Trust me when I say it does not take much to knock them back out. You're better off keeping them to the side. Transformation is actually pretty fun. Sure, CROWBAR is a major shell former, but everything really comes together nicely. I have to give the designers props for trying to make the kibble fold up as tightly as possible. If only they made the same effort to hide the dreads in vehicle mode. Speaking of those dreads, good luck trying to get them in any position you'd want them to be in. It's like they're telepathic or something, because they absolutely refuse to cooperate. I think using bendy wires would have been a far better solution than just using flexible rubbery plastic. Other than the dumpster fire that is CROWBAR's hair tentacles, CROWBAR's robot mode is pretty decent. He resembles his on-screen model pretty well for being a retool of another figure. He's also remarkably tall. Even slouched over like this, CROWBAR can still stand eye to eye with Dark of the Moon Crankcase. Speaking of eyes, CROWBAR's head sculpt is absolutely breathtaking. The octuple eyes and the massive underbite are exquisitely molded, but again the dreads completely ruin the robot mode. They all stick out in odd directions, and while that's technically accurate, there's absolutely no way to reliably manipulate them. Again, it was such a missed opportunity not to use bendy wire. CROWBAR's twin Boston Bashers fit loosely in his rubbery mitts. Thankfully, the friction on the rubber itself is too strong for the clubs to fall out by themselves, but they're very easily removable. They look alright and screen accurate, but mine came bent out of shape right out of the package, which sucks. They can also haphazardly hang off his back kibble for storage, and I do mean haphazardly. Articulation is fine, I guess. He has standard posability in his arms and legs. No ankle pivot, but his feet are actually huge enough to keep him stable in most poses. He also lacks a waist swivel. He really shines in his upper body, where he has extra joints in his shoulders, and a ball-jointed head connected to a hinge below, meaning you can switch between him standing straight or slouching. Like Bumblebee and Stinger, Crowbar is also compatible with a Bandai Tamashii Nations Act 5 stage. And, like every Studio Series figure, Crowbar comes with a stage of his own. This one is titled High Speed Chase, which represents the battle scene on the interstate in Dark of the Moon. It's actually one of my favorites, since the scene in question is one of my favorites from the movie. But, again, I don't display my Studio Series figures on their stands. Ever since 2011, I've been wanting full deluxe class figures of the 3 Dreads. Well, it looks like I wished on a monkey's paw, because Studio Series Crankcase sucks. Don't get me wrong, he has a lot of good qualities. His vehicle mode and robot modes are, for the most part, pretty good. He scales well with the existing Dark of the Moon crankcase. The posability and compatibility with stands are sufficient. But his biggest drawback are those goddamn dreadlocks. I cut off Crankcase's dreadlocks for the sake of his transformation years ago, and I'm tempted to do the same for Crowbar. On the bright side, things do get better from here. This has been Kit Katastrophe, and it's time for...
Time, Kit Katastrophe. Is it really that time again? It seems as if you've only just arrived. You've reviewed a great deal in a small time span. You've done so well, in fact, that I've received some interesting offers for your services. Ordinarily, I wouldn't contemplate them, but these are extraordinary times. Rather than offer you the illusion of free choice, I will take the liberty of choosing for you. If and when your time comes around again. I do apologize for what must seem to you an arbitrary imposition, Kit Katastrophe. I trust it will all make sense to you in the course of... well, I'm really not at liberty to say. In the meantime, this is where I get off.